Hi, my name is Beer, and let's start with Sea of Thieves 2023 edition.
Are you ready to become most notorious pirate in the world, take hostages and pillage ships for incredible wealth? That is great. If so, you can also try this game and treat it like a pirate simulator for your upcoming life of crime. So here you will explore a vast world filled with unspoiled islands and underwater kingdoms. Take on adventures to hunt for lost loot, forge a reputation with the trading companies, and battle various foes, from phantoms and ocean crawlers to megalodons and the mighty kraken itself. And you know, after you kill the beast, keep in mind that krakens are very tasty with hot potatoes and lemon. Also here, obviously, you can try your hand at fishing, make maps to your own buried treasure, or choose from hundreds of other optional goals and side quests. And the game itself is not a short one. The estimated time to complete all 60 Sea of Thieves achievements is about 1000 hours. Make sure you have a lot of free time before buying. Also, this edition, besides a base copy of Sea of Thieves itself, includes all permanent content added since launch, plus 10,000 gold bonus and many other things. TitanFall 2 Ultimate Edition. If you don't know what TitanFall is, you may think that this is only a multiplayer battle royale of some sort, but it is not. The game actually features a very nice, although really short single-player campaign packed with action and inventive twists. Here you play as militia rifleman stranded behind enemy lines who encounters a veteran titan. You must work together to uphold a mission you were never meant to carry out. And of course, in TitanFall 2 there is a multiplayer portion of the game with fast-paced first-person action with titans and deadly pilot abilities. This version of the game includes all the deluxe and jump starter content, which includes new titans, warpaint, weapons, tokens, and even more, and this price is more than great. Pyre. This is a party-based RPG in which you lead a band of exiles to freedom through ancient competitions spread across a vast mystical purgatory. Here you'll find a campaign mode where you will never be forced to lose progress. That's interesting because whether you win or fail, your journey still continues. The interactive narrative is expressed through a story that no two players will experience in quite the same way. On top of the single-player campaign, Pyre features a local two-player versus mode where you can play against a friend or CPU opponent, which is way more realistic for you, my lovely friendless schmuck. So here you can choose your party from 20 different characters and dive into battle. This game has two modes of gameplay. First one is the battles, which makes your heart beat faster, and let's be fair, that's probably only cardio exercise you do, and also slow, text-heavy sections with very little player input, so you often lose that combat readiness when you deal with those scenes. And most of us play games like that not for the text walls, but for the great action. Well, this game has both, so it's up to you. The Quarry. I would say that this is a usual slasher movie, except this time it's a game, where all the stupid decisions of the protagonist are made by you. So here you'll be in charge of a band of teenagers who decided to go to a distant quarry and celebrate, something. And things quickly took a turn for the worse. Hunted by blood-drenched locals and something far more sinister, your plans unravel into an unpredictable night of horror. Friendly banter and flirtations give way to life or death decisions, as relationships build or break under the strain of unimaginable choices, made by you, by the way. You will play as each of 9 characters in a thrilling cinematic tale, where every decision shapes your unique story from a tangled web of possibilities. Any character can be the star of the show or die before daylight comes, and it's all your fault. Honestly, this game is better played in the company of friends, or with your loving mother-in-law, so you could laugh and be scared together. People on Steam are praising the game's replayability but bashing its short story. Only 10 hours of fun for this price is a bit expensive even on a sale. Kingdom Come Deliverance. If you take Skyrim and strip it of dragons, trolls, elves and magic, you might get a very boring game. Not as boring as your sister, but really, you may think that it would probably suck. But these Czech developers who created Kingdom Come Deliverance managed to make a realistic medieval Skyrim-like game that is not only not boring, but is one of the most famous open-world games nowadays. It has a great story, interesting missions and a really beautiful world set in an ancient part of nowadays Czech Republic. So grab your wooden sword and show everyone how to fight. Well, I'll be honest, this game is terribly hard at the beginning. A simple drunken peasant will destroy your dignity at ease. The learning curve is not friendly at all, but you will learn, everyone learns. You're not worse than everyone, right? Although in general, the harsh reality of a level 1 villager that decided to become a warrior is not very pleasant, like in any game. And combat here is very realistic. I'm not kidding, some duels against stronger foes can span 15 minutes or even more. Here you will really feel like a lone warrior fighting for your life. Immersion definitely over 9000. Call of the Sea. A wonderful game for puzzle lovers when you unlock the secrets in the Hunt of Missing Expedition. It is the year 1934. In the far reaches of South Pacific, you play as Nora, who has crossed the ocean following the trail of her missing husband's expedition and finds herself in a lush island paradise, a nameless forgotten place dotted with the remnants of lost civilization. What strange mysteries does it hold? And what might Nora dig up in her quest for the truth? Maybe a better recipe for potato salad? Nah, I doubt it. People are talking that Call of the Sea has very interesting story and the visuals are stunning. On Steam it has about 90% of positive reviews, and that is definitely enough for you to dive in this first-person story-rich adventure. Find your husband, my hero. Find him alive. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. You'll embark on an epic adventure full of whimsy, wonder, and high-powered weaponry. Bullets, magic, and broadswords collide across this chaotic fantasy world brought to life by the unpredictable Tiny Tina, which is your disorderly guide through this realm where rules rarely apply. You'll explore a vast overworld spanning majestic cities, dank mushroom forests, and epic fortresses. You can choose your own multi-class hero and loot, shoot, slash, and cast your way through outlandish monsters and loot-filled dungeons. Take on a quest to stop the tyrannical Dragon Lord and show everyone who's the real boss is. Well, as always, probably not you. You can play it alone or co-op with a friend. Chaotic Great Edition includes full game and additional But Stallion pack, Blight Collar class, 4 dungeons with new bosses, loot and environments, and Dragon Lord pack bonus content. Inmost. This is an emotional and deeply atmospheric narrative-driven puzzle platformer. You will uncover the stories of an adventurous young girl, a stoic knight, and a man in search of answers. You will explore a crumbling, nightmarish landscape, slice through enemies and spring deadly traps in order to escape the evil that awaits. You will have to lure enemies into lethal traps, solve environmental puzzles, and utilize your scythe, hookshot, and pickaxe to avoid a gruesome end. The story is not very long. It will take you about 3 to 5 hours to complete. Literally depends on how dumb you are, because it's a puzzle game. It can work like an IQ test. If you finish it in 3 hours, congratulations. If in 5, well, I have bad news for you.
And you finished it in 10.
No, that's a lie. That's a lie, everyone.
No, it isn't.
Shut up. Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Recently I watched my wife playing it. She's a great fan of the franchise, she even finished Andromeda. I couldn't. So what I gathered is that this is still an awesome game. Well, 3 remastered games in one, but the graphics of the first part are still morally old. So don't expect miracles, these are all the games with not so fancy overhaul as Crysis franchise. First Mass Effect was released in 2007, so really long time ago. Anyway, if you like science fiction space operas, Mass Effect is one of the best there is. It has a great plot, many twisted turns of events, mysteries on every corner, giant robots, giant spaceships, and giant space stations. Everything is giant here. It's also full of great characters as well, and it has about 90% of positive reviews on Steam. By buying Legendary Edition, you will get all 3 remastered Mass Effect games with all the DLCs and other stuff included and remade in one huge game. Wartales. It has been 100 years since the world saw the fall of the once great Edoran Empire at the hands of an unprecedented plague that swept the nation. So prepare to lead a group of characters in a huge open world where combat, death, and thirst for riches will shape and define your day-to-day life. You are not a special chosen one ushering in a new era of peace. Nah, your goal is solely to survive, well, and thrive in this harsh and hostile land. From the most insignificant petty thieves to the land's most notorious figures, there is no such thing as a profit too small to take. You can recruit from the vast array of new companions with numerous unique skill sets and weapon preferences, resulting in a plethora of possible builds. You will accept contracts that will take you on a task to defend, liberate, and save the many inhabitants of the land for money. You are not a hero, remember? Also here you will be able to collect bounties, from the most insignificant pathetic thieves to the land's most notorious figures. There is no such thing as a profit too small to take. Very wise words, probably many times spoken by Quark from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Terminator Resistance. I remember seeing a trailer of this game a few years ago and I was like,
this probably will be a flop.
And I ignored it on my false prejudice for years. Why false? Well, it has more than 90% of positive reviews on Steam, not too far away from overwhelmingly positive titles, so it's almost a masterpiece. The game is a first-person shooter set during the Future War scenario that was only glimpsed in the first 2 iconic movies. The machines are destined to lose, but at what cost? So basically here you will run and gun or sneak and hack through Skynet's defenses, level up your skills and explore a post-apocalyptic world for scraps to trade and craft, also interact with other survivors and change their fates. People on Steam are saying that this is the real Terminator 3, as it should have been. It contains an amazing atmosphere, also interesting story and developed characters. Deliver Us the Moon. This is a single-player adventure sci-fi thriller set in an apocalyptic near future, where Earth's natural resources are depleted. A lone astronaut is sent to the moon on a critical mission to save humanity from extinction. And you know, that astronaut is you, so we are all doomed. The story starts when one fateful night all communications with Earth ceased to exist and the energy source was lost. Now, years later, you assume the role of world's last hope on a do-or-die mission to investigate what actually happened. You will embark on this adventure with a small robot companion. Together you will traverse the moon, explore abandoned facilities, gather clues and ultimately uncover the secrets and hidden agendas of those long gone. The game is quite short, it will take about 10 hours away from your boring life. It has a very positive review score, and if you like space adventures, it may be your spoon of potato salad. Rage. The first Rage game is very Falloutish and more loved by players than Rage 2. You know, like your siblings are more loved than you and your family. So Rage is an interesting look into life after the end of everything. And that end came along with an asteroid. Not a very ingenious plot, but I guess still better love story than a zombie apocalypse. You know, there are hundreds of more interesting ways to end the world than these cliché scenarios. For example, beer could become sentient and take over the world, or cats suddenly mutate into psychics, and when they are hungry, and that's all the time, they make you dance until you drop dead.
Dance, human, dance for me, meow meow.
I don't know, the possibilities of world ending are actually endless. Why stick to like 7 most boring ones? So here you emerge into this vast wasteland to fight against bandit gangs, mutants and the Authority, an oppressive government regime that has a special interest in you in particular. The Ascent. This is a solo and co-op action RPG set in a distant cyberpunk world. You will be exploring a corporate-run metropolis stretching high into the sky and filled with creatures from all over the galaxy. If you like Star Wars, Firefly or Cyberpunk 2077, it's a perfect setting for your adventures. Here you play as a worker enslaved by the company that owns your ass and everyone else in your district as well. They are the ultimate assholders. But one day you are suddenly caught in a vortex of catastrophic events, so you must take up arms and embark on a new mission to find out what started it all. People on Steam are saying that the game is really beautiful and fun, but kinda riddled with bugs. Although not everyone experiences these problems, the game has a bit less than 80% of positive reviews. For some, it is even the best game they have ever played. I think that is an overstretch, a real overstretch, but kinda encouraging as well. Fallout 4. Here you can play from first or third-person perspective. You can take items that lie around and roam across a big open world in search of adventure, absolutely ignoring the main quest and story. So basically it evokes, at least for me it did, the same feeling of freedom and exploration as the Elder Scrolls games. The main difference, of course, is the setting. Fallout 4 is a post-apocalyptic sci-fi game. It's filled with mutants and creepy facilities to explore. You can also join various factions, and that will immensely influence the outcome of the story. Sadly, they don't have a potato salad faction you could join. That is a shame. The game, along with the third Fallout game, has only one really annoying feature. In both cases, I finished the game thinking that I have like 10 or more hours of gameplay left, and it ended absolutely unexpectedly and way too fast. So if you decide to play Fallout 4, keep that in mind. Roam around, do some side quests, do not rush the story. All 3 games, I mean third Fallout, Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4 are great games. You have all my recommendations. Wartales. This is a mining roguelite with tower defense elements and a very affordable price. Here you'll explore procedurally generated mines and discover fantastical biomes, find resources and technologies and purchase valuable upgrades, fight off hordes of aggressive monsters using your mobile base and roam the world freely day and night in various weather conditions, find traces of the others and boldly mine where no man has mined before. The game has a really fun concept, beautiful art style and reminds me a bit of a Dome Keeper, another beautiful indie game. People on Steam are saying that the game has a great replay value and a bit of a boring ending, but this game is the journey, not the destination. death in the water too. I've been eyeballing this game for a long time now. It looks like a very nice shooter game set in an original underwater environment. Here you will dodge and carve your way through swarms of terrifying sea creatures, controlled by a vicious, giant, mind-controlling kraken that haunts your every move. You will scavenge for hidden treasure to unlock weapons and upgrades, but the environment of this game will make sure that every dive reveals a new nightmare. As you investigate ruins, wrecks and reefs, the tension escalates. The marine life mirrors real behavior, with sharks and creatures remaining passive unless provoked. So don't splash the water and don't pretend to be a seal. Honestly, this advice is legit not only in this game but also in real life, except if you are attending a gathering of people who pretend to be seals, which is a very popular thing in Estonia, for example. I'm not joking. So the game features a campaign, also survival and free roam modes. People on Steam are saying that this game is very detailed and is suitable for almost every first-person shooter horror fan. The only bad thing is, if you get motion sickness easily, then avoid. Iratus, Lord of the Dead. This is a turn-based tactical roguelite RPG set in a dark fantasy universe. You'll have to lead an army of undead to reach the surface world and bring death to the mortal realms. You know, they lack death on the surface, so you are ready to supply the demand. So you will control an obedient army of the living dead. You know, all the classic monsters. Skeletons, zombies, banshees... other unliving warriors, I swear, I know more. And you will create your soldiers the only way a necromancer knows how, from the body parts of your slain enemies. Iratus definitely has a high replayability due to different minion composition in your team. Also, there are multiple different pathways to take when it comes to finishing the game. The main story will take up to 12 hours of your boring life. Scorn. Scorn was advertised as some xenomorphish first-person shooter, but I played 4 hours of Scorn, and I don't think I have shot anything in that time. All I did was just walk around admiring the scenery and trying to solve puzzles, and sometimes I had no idea if a thing I had encountered was a puzzle or just a thing for aesthetic purposes. Most of the time you have no clues of why and what to do. For example, one of the first puzzles requires you to do some things to get access to a door. One of them is some generic riddle that is not fun, also difficult and annoying. That instantly ruins the fun, and you can't progress without solving it. The best thing about Scorn is its art. I think honestly it is one of the most beautiful games I have ever seen. But you already know that I like dark and grim stuff, so if you like it as well, Scorn may be interesting for you aesthetically. Just remember, it is a puzzle game and everything else is just a nice decoration. GTFO. This is a 4-player cooperative game. Good news for you, since you are obviously short of friends, the vacuum of your life can be filled with bots here. Playing with them can be irritating at first, but when you learn their mechanics, it's actually quite fun.
Said every lonely person ever.
Oh, shut up. Of course, game developers still recommend playing with real people since the game requires a level of communication and tactical combat, and a good strategy is necessary to win the game. Many of the creatures of GTFO are suspended in state of hibernation, so light, noise and vibrations can easily wake these sleepers up. Better leave your multi-purpose, noisy, vibrating flashlight at home, so if one of the creatures knows you are there, they all know. Be cautious when deciding on shooting. This game will truly test your patience, since it is a hardcore shooter and it doesn't have a difficulty setting. Although despite the fact that the graphics and atmosphere are amazing, GTFO can become quite repetitive rather quickly. The Flame in the Flood. This is a roguelike river journey through the backwaters of a forgotten post-apocalyptic America, where you can forage, craft and occasionally evade predators. Well, the last part will be harder to do. I was eaten by a wolf countless times here, so basically you will take the role of a delicious snack with no desire to be tasted. Just be sure that you are into roguelike games, that you have stable mental health, and few deaths here and there will not make you rage quit and uninstall. The Flame in the Flood was created by famous developers who previously worked on Bioshock, Halo, Penis Doctor Simulator and Guitar Hero. Well, honestly, I'm not sure about that third one, but other games are definitely legit. So here you'll travel by foot and by raft down a procedurally generated river as you scrounge for resources, craft tools, remedies, evade the vicious wildlife, and most importantly, stay ahead of coming rains. You know, flood is even in the name of the game. Rock of Ages 2. It may not look like one, but believe me, this is one of the most entertaining games I have ever played. Or as developers say, this is a rock-solid combination of rock-rolling action, deep strategy, captivating art, and music from different ages of history. The game calls itself the greatest giant rocks rolling through historical artistic ages tower defense game. Yeah, try to repeat that. Rock of Ages 2 can be played as a single-player game, but it also cranks up on the emphasis on the chaotic new multiplayer for up to 4 rock rollers. New time periods, improved graphics, physics, and destructibility powered by Unreal Engine 4. Just like in the original game, here you'll have various levels inspired by the greatest art periods in history. You will gaze upon exquisite art from the Egyptians, late Gothic era, early Renaissance, and Surrealist movement, and all of them will carve a path of destruction with their rolling rocks of doom. Positive reviews on Steam stuck around 90%, so the price is more than right. War for the Overworld. This is a strategy-based building RTS where you will excavate and build your own dungeon. Yes, you are almighty evil dungeon master or mistress. Here you can choose from over 60 rooms, spells, potions, rituals, defenses, and constructs as you progress through the game. Just be warned, the game is quite fast-paced, so you'll have to build like a swift underlord you are, or else your beautiful dungeon creatures might not win against the ugly, puny heroes. In the game you can also build your own maps and campaigns, so unleash that inner creator you borrowed somewhere deep down under the bed long time ago. It's your time to shine. People on Steam are calling this game a spiritual successor of Dungeon Keeper. You know, with all the dark humor, evil creatures, and evil you. Source of Madness. This is a side-scrolling, dark action roguelite set in a twisted Lovecraftian world powered by a procedural generation and AI machine learning. You will take on the role of a new acolyte as you embark on a nightmarish odyssey, and in the process uncover the cosmic secrets of the creepy world and the Tower of Madness. The coolest thing here is that the horrific monsters you face are never the same. They are concocted with procedural generation and animated using a neural network AI. What can I say, the future is now. I can't wait for more expensive games, 3D games maybe, to start using similar or maybe more advanced technology. Monsters designed by artificial intelligence which is using our darkest fears as an algorithm would be beyond awesome. Shadow Gambit, The Cursed Crew. So this is an all-new strategy game set during an alternate history of the golden age of piracy. The terrible curse of lost souls haunts the mysterious island chain known as the Lost Caribbean, which is under the control of the terrible forces of the Inquisition. They despise all that is supernatural and use soul-devouring fire to hunt cursed pirates. And you are in charge of those, so that's not cool. Anyway, the game is made by the same bunch of people as Desperados 3 and Shadow Tactics titles, so I can assure you that the level of awesomeness is pretty high here. Anyway, here you'll sail on a sentient cursed ship, which will act as your base of operations. Here you'll hire new crew members, pick missions to embark on, and do many other nitpicky piratey things. I was really impressed by the tiny details of the ship. Its design is absolutely awesome. A lot of time was invested in making it, although I didn't like the controls of the camera. I didn't like them at all. If I had to rate camera controls of this game in a range from a pile of snot to an awesome exploding supernova, these controls would be somewhere where the dandruffs are, so not so far from a pile of snot. Aliens Dark Descent. In this tactical real-time strategy, you will command a squad of hardened colonial marines to stop a terrifying xenomorph outbreak on a distant, unwelcoming planet. You will lead your soldiers in real-time combat against iconic xenomorphs, rogue operatives from devious Wayland Yutani Corporation, and a host of horrifying creatures new to the Alien franchise. So here you are, the commander, and soldiers are your weapon. With their help, you will infiltrate large open levels and annihilate enemies with your squad. Tread carefully, as your foes will adapt their tactics to your actions. Monsters will be hunting you down, and the death here is permanent. You know, like the hunger of your cat, or the noises your neighbors make. So if you have a handsome soldier you don't want to lose, you might want to put it behind the others. Although be warned that the aliens can ambush you from behind as well. Dark Descent is an original story filled with iconic xenomorph creatures, ranging from facehuggers to Praetorians, alien queens, and many more. Dark Descent has around 90% of positive reviews, and people on Steam are saying that this is the perfect game for Alien Universe fans, and after the isolation, it's probably the best game about xenomorphs. Grounded. one of the smallest open-world games. You can only freely move around in your yard of several square meters. The trick is that the game follows the best traditions of famous movie
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
And here you are literally shrunk to the size of an ant. So actually this world is vast, beautiful and dangerous place. You know, almost every predator is bigger than you. Probably a dog peeing on some flower can literally drown you in a way that you wouldn't want to be carved on your tombstone. So here we'll explore, build and survive together in this first-person multiplayer survival adventure. So can you thrive alongside the hordes of giant insects fighting to survive the perils of the backyard? Well, alone probably not, but if you have some friends or a loving mother-in-law, you can play the game together and have lots of fun. The rating on Steam hovers around 90%, and that is always a sign of a good game. Bioshock Infinite. As the first two parts, this is an immersive first-person shooter sim with a wonderful single-player story. While the first and second Bioshock games were set underwater, this time you go high into the sky, to the city among the clouds named Columbia. The year is 1912, and you have to rescue a mysterious girl or die trying. Well, knowing you, the latter option is more likely. Oh, come on, I'm kidding, you are great, never doubt that. Now subscribe. Anyway, the Flying City is a beautiful and vibrant world that holds a very dark secret. Here you can rip apart time and space to shape the battlefield and turn the tide in combat by pulling weapons, turrets and other resources out of thin air, throw explosive fireballs, shoot lightning and release murders of crows. Game has more than 90% of positive reviews and is a real gem every first-person shooter lover should play. The Entropy Centre. Here, an extinction-level event has set the world on fire. You appear to be the last remaining person alive, so you could just move into rich people's houses or a bunker with fancy pools and golden spoons, but instead you are like, no, I'm going to the Entropy Centre where mankind's only hope lies at its very core. So as you can see, this is a puzzle game, but it is so innovative and well narrated that it has above 90% of positive reviews. People on Steam are saying that the scenario of the game could be easily remade into a sci-fi movie. It's that good. And if you are not good with puzzle games, don't worry, the difficulty is quite friendly, although it will take time to get used to time rewinding logic. The Moon Hell. This is an action hack-and-slash RPG game set in a detailed and grim dark fantasy world. As you play, you will encounter puzzles and secrets that will unveil the story of this universe. And don't expect it to be some AAA kind of game. This is just a simple and beautiful indie title made by a team of 2 people. The combat is kinda slow and difficult, the gamepad is not supported, but the atmosphere is great. And if you are not afraid to play something new and want to enjoy interesting location design and almost glitch-free gameplay, it might be your spoon of potato salad. Great thing is that the game is not grindy, so you won't get bored quickly. Well, honestly, if you just rush through the Moon Hell in a hurry, it will take only 6 hours to finish, so it's roughly the size of a tutorial introduction of a AAA game. Anyway, the price is great, so why not? Traveler's Rest. This is a tavern management game where you can brew your own beer, run a farm and build relationships. You are an innkeeper on a journey to transform a rundown tavern into a bustling social space. Based in a cheerful fantasy setting, Traveler's Rest is a place to meet people, explore new places and uncover ancient magic. Along your journey you'll discover new things to brew, farm, cook and build to create your perfect fantasy tavern. The game is still in early access but has more than 90% of positive reviews. People on Steam are saying that this game is awesome, and if you like titles like Stardew Valley, it's a must-play. Also, you can smack angry customers away with your mop. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition. This version with upgraded graphics was released 7 years ago, and it still has about 25,000 players in game simultaneously at all times. By player count on Steam it holds 46th place among all the games. That shows how huge and popular this game is. There is no doubt that Skyrim is a masterpiece of open-world games, and in my opinion it was decrowned from the throne of the best game in the field only by the third Witcher. By now it is of course a bit outdated, but it still lets you dive into a huge fantasy world and explore incredible places. Skyrim is single player only. There is no bullshit of other players invading your game like in Elden Ring, no other gamers walking around like in Diablo 4 when you just try to accomplish single player campaign. Here you are alone, and everything is done for your personal pleasure. You can become a warrior, mage, assassin or drug addict. You know, it's up to you. Skyrim is like a great book where you are the main protagonist. Superhero to be fair, but the lore is super deep. Stories, especially for guild quests, are great, and if you never played it, just do it. Season, a letter to the future. This is a beautiful open-world narrative visual novel where you play as a young woman from a secluded village exploring the world by bike for the first time. You will collect memories before a cataclysm washes everything away. The game will take you on a quest to discover a new world, one unknown yet familiar. You will document, photograph and record life as you find it, while you still can. Each recording tool captures a different layer. Sounds and music, art and architecture, the stories of characters living through pivotal moments. Your tools peel back these layers until you grasp the culture, history and ecology underneath everything. Game has more than 90% of positive reviews and could be great for you to take a rest from various hack-and-slash bloodshed-infused titles and try something different instead. No Man's Sky. The game was released 7 years ago and it flopped like no game has ever flopped before. Despite that, developers scooped their shattered dignity and textures together and molded it into a great game. No Man's Sky is a live project. Updates are constant, the game is getting better and better every year. They are serious about this game and that's why the price never goes below 50%. You know, they have to pay salaries to all the people updating the game, so they could buy delicious ingredients for the best potato salad. The game itself is an open-world galaxy sim where you craft and build stuff in order to survive. It's one of the best games of the genre, so if you are up for the adventure, don't overthink it. Brütal Legend. This is the most metal game that exists in the entire universe, and if you like Jack Black, who is the main hero here, it's a must-play for you. I'm not kidding, it lacks only 1% to be in the overwhelmingly positive review range. So this is an action-adventure that marries combat with open-world freedom. Here you'll meet cover bands, demons intent on enslaving humanity, heavy metal tunes, and Ozzy Osbourne himself. So as I have mentioned before, here you'll play as Jack Black, as he embarks on a tour of epic destruction with an axe, a guitar and his minions. You will command the power of rock and awesomeness that will melt the face off your enemies. Also, the game is really funny and I mean it. 2 Point Campus. So here you will build the university of your dreams, or nightmares, I don't know. Maybe all of your professors will be teaching how to put pineapple in the potato salad
instead of mayonnaise.
Oh, the horror! So don't expect this game to be a serious academic sim. It is as far from serious as your monthly salary is from serious salary. Anyway, here students enjoy a range of wild and wonderful courses, from night school to gastronomy, where students will build mouth-watering concoctions like giant pizzas and enormous pies. You will build libraries, hire the best staff from eccentric professors to mad researchers, and watch the academic potential of your students get unlocked. The game is similar to 2 Point Hospital and its predecessor, Theme Hospital, that only the oldest of us can remember. Moons of Madness. This is a first-person, story-driven cosmic horror game. Here the scientific exploration of Mars meets the supernatural dread of Lovecraft. The story begins when the mysterious signal has been recorded coming from the Red Planet. Corporate scientists decided that it is of intelligent origins and started to build an outpost on Mars to investigate the nature of the message. And you are one of the maintenance workers on that station without any idea why it is being built. Well, the rest is kinda self-explanatory. Brown substance hits the fan and you will have to solve the thing absolutely alone. Don't expect it to be a flawless game, it is not. It looks way better than it plays. But for this price, it's definitely a good choice if you like slow-burning Lovecraftian horror titles. The Unfinished Swan. Here you'll explore a mysterious all-white landscape by splatting paint to reveal the world around you. You'll follow a swan that stepped out of an unfinished painting and wandered off into a surreal storybook-inspired kingdom. Each chapter brings surprises and new ways to explore the world, which is a host of bizarre and sometimes dangerous creatures. You will also encounter the eccentric king who built this empire. This is simply one of the best puzzle games ever created. If you are looking for a nice game with a good story and relaxing gameplay, this title is a must-try, no doubt. Expeditions Viking. Game description says, a small band of Norse warriors lands on the shores of England. History may have forgotten their names, but their actions live on. Well, as I always say, the actions Vikings made in real-life England involved a lot of pillaging and other crimes, like, you know, killing. So romantic and songs-worthy. Anyway, here's the newly appointed chieftain of a modest Viking clan. You'll have a village of your very own. But to carve your name into the runestones of history, you'll need great strength and great wealth to grow your village's prosperity. There is little left to be gained from the Norse lands, and so you must set your sights on the seas to the west, where tales speak of a great island filled with treasure and slaves ready for the taking. Game has a very positive review score on Steam, but there are also quite a few comments saying that the game is a bit too slow, you know, just like your sister.
Batman: Arkham City Game of the Year Edition. Overwhelmingly positive reviews is not something we can easily ignore, and the game will send you flying through the expansive Arkham City, 5 times larger than the game world in Batman: Arkham Asylum. The game is home for all of Gotham City's thugs, gangsters, and insane criminal masterminds, including Catwoman, the Joker, the Riddler, Two-Face, Harley Quinn, your ex-girlfriend, the Penguin, Mr. Freeze, and many others. The game allows you to generally experience what it feels to be the Dark Knight, delivering justice on the streets of Gotham City. Well, in our world, Batman would be sitting behind the bars, because in most countries, even defending from criminals and using excessive force is forbidden. When the world became such a soft place, I didn't even notice. Merchant of the Skies. Here you will become a captain of a trading airship. All you have to do is to get rich and embark on many adventures in the process. Overall, this is a sandbox trading game with light base building and tycoon elements. You start as a captain of a small cloud ship and work your way towards establishing your own trade company. Game incorporates exploration, base building, trading, and some minor RPG elements as well. Yeah, you will get experience and become more savvy when it comes to trading, then start your own goods production. And as an experienced cloud tycoon, you will establish trade routes to move and sell goods without your direct involvement. And, you know, get rich and build your own mansion from more than 200 different building blocks. People are saying that this is a very nice chill game, suitable for everyone who just want to relax after a hard work day. Warhammer 40k Boltgun. Here, without any hesitation, load up your gun and plunge into battle. You will experience a perfect blend of Warhammer FPS gameplay and the stylish visuals of your favorite 90s retro shooters. You will play a battle-hardened Space Marine on a perilous mission across the galaxy as you fight against the Chaos Space Marines and demons. This boomer shooter style, well known from the games like Classic Doom, Duke Nukem or Heretic, is a real treat for all the dudes like me, and also for a younger generation who wants to experience glory and feel like a true combat god, or goddess, or something in between. Whatever you are, you will rock this. People on Steam are saying that the game doesn't offer a lot of replayability, but the level of entertainment it provides is massive. Although, not as massive as your mama. Returnal. This is an incredibly beautiful action roguelite bullet hell. Here, after crash landing on a weird shape-shifting world, you must search through the barren landscape of an ancient civilization for your escape. All alone, you find yourself fighting for survival until death. Yours, of course, again and again. When you are defeated, you are forced to restart this journey every time you die. The fun thing is that you'll discover that just as the planet changes with every cycle, so do the items at your disposal. Every loop offers new combinations, empowering you to push your boundaries and approach combat with a different strategy each time. In other words, this is roguelike, but it's not boring at all. Game is still very expensive, but if you want something brainless and beautiful, you know, look at the mirror. Anyway, jokes aside, this is truly beautiful brainless bullet hell, although system requirements are quite high, so be sure you have them above minimum. Blacktail. Here the choice is yours. Will you become the guardian of the woods or the terror nightmares are made of? You play as Yaga, a 16-year-old girl accused of witchcraft and expelled from medieval settlement. Well, I know what I would be doing after that. Definitely not helping poor folk from the aforementioned village to heal their sick cattle. No, I would rather secretly put pineapple into their potato salad. Anyway, here you will decide the fate of the land and its inhabitants and witness the impact of your decisions on your skills through an implemented morality system. Craft arrows and potions, hunt wild animals, and gather resources to survive in the ominous woods. People on Steam are saying that the game feels more mature than the visuals it provides, and the story is really dark and captivating. Rust. The only aim here is to survive. Everything wants you to die. The island's wildlife, other inhabitants, the environment, other survivors, and so on. So do whatever it takes to last another night. The game itself is an MMO in very active development, with a guaranteed content patch every month. From regular balance fixes and improvements to AI and graphic updates, to adding content like new maps, musical instruments, trains, and drones, as well as regular seasons and events. There is always something interesting or dangerous, or both, happening on the island. You'll find procedurally generated worlds with map editor support. You can host your own servers, ride a vast array of vehicles from cars and trains to hot air balloons and helicopters. You can build houses, farm, or do almost anything you want. The game is huge. Cult of the Lamb.
More than 90% of a positive review score is not something you may easily ignore. You know, you may ignore your coworkers, you may ignore that nasty pimple on your nose, you may even ignore the fact that you earn the same amount of money as in the last year and the inflation is making you poor, but you can't ignore potato salad, boobies, and cult of a lamb. Because here you will be thrown into the role of a possessed lamb and must start your own cult in a land of false prophets. You will venture out into diverse and mysterious regions to build a loyal community of fanatical followers and spread your word to become the one true cult. Also, you will have to destroy the non-believers and defeat rival cult leaders to absorb their power and potato salad. People on Steam are saying that this game is unbelievably fun, has great art style and is really addictive, just like a real cult. Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition. Here you'll find yourself in Hong Kong, a vibrant neon city teeming with life, whose exotic locations and busy streets hide one of the most powerful and dangerous criminal organizations in the world. In this open-world game, you will play the role of an undercover cop, trying to take down the mafia from the inside out. You'll have to prove yourself worthy as you fight your way up the ranks, taking part in brutal criminal activities without blowing your cover. You will be torn between your loyalty to the badge and a criminal code of honor. You will risk everything as the lines between truth, loyalty and justice become permanently blurred. The game promises that you will enter illegal races, kick back with some karaoke and gamble on cockfights. Let's hope they have animals in mind. Monster Hunter Rise. This is originally a Nintendo Switch game released back in 2021. Now we have this action-soaked game on Steam as well, and this version is obviously upgraded to meet our expectations. You will rise to the challenge and become a hunter, explore brand new maps and use a variety of weapons to take down fearsome monsters. That's what developers say, but I would change the word fearsome to airy-fairy, because those monsters are anything but fearsome. Although they are beautiful, I can't deny that. Each monster you hunt will provide materials that allow you to create new weapons and ammo. You can also upgrade your existing gear so you can go back on the field and hunt even more airier and fairier monsters and earn even better rewards. Of course, all of that is presented in 4K resolution with ultra-wide monitor support and unlocked frame rate. Even with a discount, the game is a bit expensive, but you can try the free demo version on Steam. Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate and Injustice 2 Legendary Edition bundle. If you want to beat your friends, don't hesitate. Show them who the real alpha in your company is. And after that, you may want to buy this amazing bundle and beat your friends in the game as well. And this is an amazing treat for every fighting games fan. Mortal Kombat 11 and Injustice 2 with 6 DLCs combined among them is a thing hard to ignore, especially for this price. Mortal Kombat 11 features the complete 37 character roster, including new additions Rain, Mileena and Rambo. And Injustice 2 includes all 10 add-on characters, including Hellboy and Teenage Mutant Ninja Lizards. I'm kidding, I know they are not lizards, they're snakes, everyone knows that. Blackchain. This is a very nice old-fashioned StarCraft-inspired RTS that will take you only a few hours to finish. You'll be thrown to a year of 2088 where the solar system is ruled by those who can exploit it most efficiently. So I guess by someone like Elon Musk if he can detach himself from playing King of Twitter. Blackchain includes a classic campaign across the solar system with 12 unique story missions with full voice acting, base building, land and air combat, skirmish mode versus AI, also land multiplayer with 2 human players, map editor and custom games. Sadly, there is only one faction available. But hey, keep in mind that this game is made by one man and its price for a game that is made in the year of 2021 is ridiculous. It is equivalent of 10 kilograms of potatoes if you buy them in my city of Vilnius. So if you're not some weirdo who's considering traveling to Lithuania just to buy 10 kilograms of potato, better spend your money on Blackchain instead. Honey, I joined a cult. The title is a bit misleading because here you won't be joining a cult, you will be the boss of it. So let's go and create our own religion and become respectful cult leaders. In the process, make some real good money and exploit others by imposing our own will on various dimwits. Here, as everywhere else, effective management is at the heart of every money-making enterprise, and your organization is no exception. Dressing in snappy robes isn't enough, your cult must run like a well-oiled hypnotic wheel. People on Steam are talking that that this is a great game to relax and play for an hour or so once in a while. So if you like management games, it may be your spoon of potato salad, but don't expect miracles. It's an entertaining game, not an actual cult simulator. You won't be actually learning how to scam people with imaginary friends. Anyway, 8 out of 10 people are happy with the game, so there is a chance that you will like it as well. The Deadly Tower of Monsters. The game treats itself as a 1970s movie. That is not a joke, that is the whole concept of the game. It is filled with classic themes such as the daughter versus tyrant father, the planet full of innocent ape creatures, the dashing space-age liberator, the robot companion, or the tower full of treacherous mutations. As developers say, a timeless classic for all ages. So in general, this is an action-adventure sci-fi comedy game with dynamic narration set in a retro-futuristic environment. You can play it alone or together with your friends or mother-in-law on a shared or split screen. Game has full controller support and, honestly, full support of your poverty, because the price is more than friendly. Mind Scanners. This is a retro-futuristic psychiatry simulation in which you diagnose the citizens of a dystopian metropolis. You locate a host of weird characters and use arcade-style treatment devices to help them. Manage your time and resources to keep the structure in balance. And remember, you take full responsibility for your patients. If you ever played and liked the game called Papers, Please, this may be your spoon of potato salad, and vice versa. Mind Scanners is definitely not for everyone, but a very positive review score on Steam is a good indicator that the game is good. Depending if you like the game or not, you may spend from 1 to roughly 10 hours playing it. 8-Bit Invaders. Remember all the Lovecraftian movies where bodies are merging with each other? You know, like The Thing, The Fly, or Annihilation with Natalie Portman. So if StarCraft and Minecraft were protagonists in such a Lovecraftian movie, 8-Bit Invaders would be their merging result. See, you can always think of something better than just a cliché about
If StarCraft and Minecraft had a baby.
So this is a fast-paced RTS, a very colorful strategy arcade game that it's easy to learn for players of all skill levels. Collect resources, build up and defend your base, amass your army of tanks and starships, and ultimately crush humans with your metal tentacles, or show aliens who's the boss here. You'll find 24 campaign missions, 10 co-op missions to play with your mother-in-law, destructible environments, and you know who the composer is? Frank Klepacki, the same dude who created music for Command & Conquer 27 years ago, when he was 17. Yeah, I will keep repeating this fact. And if you feel that this 8-bit setting is appealing to you, keep in mind that you can also find 2 more games, 8-bit armies that are made with the fans of Command & Conquer in mind, and 8-bit hordes that can be appealing to Warcraft fans. WWE 2K23. When I was a kid, you know, some 7-8 years old, my country Lithuania had recently regained independence from the Soviet Union, and we were flooded with all the great American things that we had never seen before. That was like year 1991 or 1992, and wrestling was one of the things we, as kids, got very interested in. It never became a thing here, you know, as a sport, but we were collecting various stickers, magazines, and stuff like that. My friend even had a poster with Hulk Hogan, and all the kids in the block were super envious of it. Well, that was a Polish poster and they named it Hulk Hoganovich on it, but we didn't care. And if we had a game like this back in the day, oh boy, but we didn't. We played Mortal Kombat instead. Anyway, it's a great fighting game filled with lore and, you know, John Cena himself. You can beat Hulk Hogan as John Cena here, or the other way around. I checked, it's possible. And the review score is very positive, so what's not to like? Monster Hunter World. You'll take on the role of a hunter and slay ferocious monsters in a living ecosystem, where you can use the landscape and its diverse inhabitants to get the upper hand. You can hunt alone or in co-op with up to 3 other players, and use materials collected from fallen foes to craft new gear. There are 14 different weapons at your disposal, each with its own unique characteristics and styles of attack. Many hunters acquire proficiency in multiple types, while others prefer to attain mastery of one. Stasis Bone Totem. Perhaps I should start with the fact that the game has an overwhelmingly positive review score on Steam. That is always a great sign. Here you'll take control of Mac and Charlie, a husband and wife duo who make their living by searching the ocean for salvage. But when you stumble upon an abandoned oil rig in the Pacific Ocean, you uncover a horrific secret, and the evil corporation behind it will do anything to keep it hidden. As you embark on your adventure, you will encounter an immersive narrative filled with spine-tingling tingling horror, and unexpected twists. Stasis Bone Totem, despite being a psychological horror game, is kinda relaxing because of the point-and-click nature and an interesting puzzles to solve. Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, Game of the Year Edition. In the first part of Middle-earth, you will fight through Mordor and uncover the secret of the spirit that compels you. You will discover the origins of the Rings of Power, build your legend, and ultimately confront the evil of Sauron. The best thing about playing Shadow of Mordor is that it makes you feel overpowered without sacrificing the fear of defeat. You will enjoy great fast-paced combat and a nice good-looking open world full of Lord of the Rings lore. If you are a fan of Tolkien's books or Lord of the Rings movies, then this game will for sure do a little bit extra to make you happy. The plot of the game is okayish, you will find nothing very fancy or mind-blowing here. Despite that, the flow, the pace of the game will not let you get bored, that's for sure. And this version of the game includes new missions. You will have to face Sauron's elite defenders before the Black Gate, dive deeper into Mordor's living world and hunt the wild beasts, and battle against Sauron as Celebrimbor, the great elven lord of the Second Age, to unlock powerful runes and the ability to wield the One Ring. That is awesome, and the game is awesome as well. Machinarium. This is one of the cutest and coolest puzzle games I have ever played, although keep in mind that it will truly test your IQ. Puzzles here are really hard. Well, they are all crackable, but if you are not a die-hard puzzle fan, it may be a challenging brain sport for you. The world of Machinarium is populated only by robots of various forms and functions. One of the most interesting places in this world is the old, rusty and legendary city where the game takes place. You will have to get rid of wicked robots, save the mayor of the city and also your robot girlfriend. A dream of yours, I know. It's a wonderful game and it has an overwhelmingly positive review score on Steam as well. Remnant 2. This is the sequel to Remnant from the Ashes, best known as Dark Souls with guns. The game pits survivors of humanity against new deadly creatures and godlike bosses across beautiful but menacing worlds. Here you can travel alone or with friends as a team and explore strange new worlds and beyond, overrun by mythical creatures while trying to stay alive. There are multiple worlds to explore with different types of creatures, weapons and items. Game has branching quest lines, augments, crafting and loot rewards that will test the resolve of even the most hardened players in dynamically generated dungeons and areas. Most of the players are saying that the second part is better than the first one, meaning that developers learned from their past mistakes and made an actually awesome game. Terraria. The game is way more than just a flat version of Minecraft. Terraria is so much more beautiful, with more special effects and more dynamic fights. Here you can craft hundreds of items, build houses or even castles in any form you desire. Yes, even in that one you are thinking about.
Castle of Boob?
Yes, the Castle of Boob. Here you'll have to survive dangerous nights, defeat waves of enemies and dig down below to encounter some unspeakable horrors. Yeah, really, some of them are really difficult to describe, although don't play it alone. Play it with your wife, brother, friend or mother-in-law. You will enhance the experience many times. The game has overwhelmingly positive reviews, everyone likes it. Verden. The game takes place on the Western Front in one of the bloodiest conflicts in world history, inspired by the famous Battle of Verdun in 1916. So the game is the first-person shooter multiplayer set in a realistic setting of the First World War. The vicious close-quarters nature of trench warfare means that skill with a bayonet can be as vital as good aim with a rifle, so prepare for some melee action as well. The game offers 4 modes with many historically accurate features, such as realistic First World War weaponry, authentic uniforms, horrendous gore, and maps based on the real battlefields of France and Belgium. People on Steam are saying that the game is criminally underrated, so if you are thirsty not only for beer but for blood as well, this may be your spoon of potato salad.
Wait, what?
I don't know, man, sounded cool in my head. Inside and Limbo Bundle. What a great deal this is! 2 legendary horror-themed platformers for this price is a must-have. Even if you are not into platformers, these games are like a gateway drug into this beautiful world. If you played Little Nightmares, I would say that Limbo and Inside are members of the same genre, or more likely a subgenre. Creepy but beautiful worlds, strange creatures and death on every corner. Games are really hard. I can't even remember how many times I died in Limbo, for example, but it didn't bother me when I played. You respawn in a nearby place and can instantly fail again. If you are in doubt, keep in mind that both of these games have a demo version available to try for free, so you won't be risking anything. Although I must warn you, if you don't like puzzles, avoid these games, because you will need to use your brain more than once here, so make sure you have one.
Batman Arkham Knight Premium Edition. Here, obviously, you will become Batman. The game comes with the introduction of the Batmobile and enhancements to signature features, such as free-flow combat, stealth, forensics, and navigation. The main feature, the Batmobile, is brought to life with an original design featuring a distinct visual appearance and a full range of high-tech gadgetry. It is designed to be fully drivable throughout the game world and capable of transformation from high-speed pursuit mode to military-grade battle mode. The vehicle sits at the heart of the game's design and allows you to race the streets at high speeds and catch most dangerous villains. Batmobile also augments your abilities in every aspect, from navigation and forensics to combat and puzzle solving. People on Steam are saying that Arkham Knight looks better than most games today and is immensely fun. The reviews are around 90%. The game is great. Sifu. If you ever wanted to feel like Bruce Lee in his movies, then this game is definitely your spoon of potato salad. The big difference this game offers is that here enemies don't wait for their turn to beat you, so you will have to be quick, nimble and smart to defeat them all. Kung Fu is mastery achieved by practice, a path for the body and the mind. You will learn from your mistakes, unlock unique skills and find the strength to master the devastating techniques of the strongest Kung Fu style ever invented. Well, I have zero knowledge about Kung Fu, to be honest. My ninjutsu martial arts teacher always said that if you can avoid the fight, avoid it. If you can't avoid it, grab an object like a chair and beat your enemies with it. Don't use your hands if you can, they hurt. Well, he also said that if a robber attacks you and you manage to knock him off, take his wallet and then pee on him. Show your dominance. And that is not a joke, my sensei really said that. Yeah, for real, leave honor for the movies. Papetura. This is a handcrafted puzzle adventure game made entirely out of paper. Along with atmospheric music, it creates a mysterious and unique paper world shrouded in shadow and light. Here you will live the story of a lonely paper creature trapped in a flowery prison. One day you manage to escape and find a magical being. Together you will have to face dark and flaming monsters, which will try to burn down your beloved paper world. The game is short, it will take only about 2 hours to beat, but that is okay. Price is nice and positive reviews on Steam are above 90%. Here everything is made out of paper, from tiny insects, strange creatures and monsters to truly magical locations. You will also encounter interesting puzzles and beautiful animation. The game is suitable for everyone. There are no dialogues, just story and action. Cuphead. This is a classic run-and-gun action game heavily focused on boss battles. Inspired by cartoons of the 1930s, the visuals and audio are created with the same techniques of the era. For example, traditional hand-drawn cell animation, watercolor backgrounds, and original jazz recordings. You play as Cuphead as you traverse strange worlds, acquire new weapons, learn powerful super moves, and discover hidden secrets while you try to pay your debt back to the devil. The game is painfully difficult, and if you have no patience, it's not for you. Avoid at all costs, or buy and try to prove yourself that you can do it. You probably can't, but you never know until you try. Game's art and atmosphere is absolutely 10 cold beers out of 10, and as I've mentioned, difficulty as well. Predator Hunting Grounds. An example of a very popular genre now, a symmetrical shooter that pits humans against Predator. If you played or at least know what Dead by Daylight game is all about, Predator Hunting Grounds is kinda the same. You will have to complete challenging missions as a part of a 4-person team to escape, and as a Predator you will have to hunt them all down. Although keep in mind that the game can feel a bit unbalanced, it tends to put players of different skill levels in one match, so Predator Hunting Grounds is obviously best enjoyed in the group of friends, or, you know, in a group of strangers that decided to play together by meeting each other in some Discord group. The review score is around 80% and the price is kinda nice. But remember, if you don't like it, don't go over 2 hours of gameplay time and you can refund it. And don't leave it running in menu screen, that counts as well. Celeste. This epic platformer has won the Game Awards in its category in 2018. Overwhelmingly positive reviews still decorate its Steam page. This is a narrative-driven single-player adventure with a charming cast of characters and touching story of self-discovery. You'll climb a massive mountain teeming with 700 screens of hardcore platforming challenges and devious secrets. If you have a nostalgic itch for platformer games, Celeste will scratch it without a doubt. And people on Steam are saying that this game will teach you how relaxing it is to die over and over again. And yeah, here you will die more than in Dark Souls, but that is okay, your mental health is strong, right?
Mental health who?
I don't know, never had one, shut up. Yonder, the Cloudcatcher Chronicles.
This title can be really entertaining for those who like farming and crafting games like Stardew Valley, My Time at Porsche and similar ones. Although it's not on the same level of quality, it's way shorter and smaller than those aforementioned, but it's really cute and interesting. If you have a hunger for games like that, it may be a good choice. Yonder is a relaxing open-world adventure set in a natural island paradise with 8 distinct environments ranging from tropical beaches to snow-capped summits. But this land is not as perfect as it seems. The mysterious murk has taken hold of a land, so your task is to
Remove it.
Soul Calibur 6. A fighter game where you can control Geralt the Witcher should definitely catch your attention. If you like to beat your friends, it's a bad habit, you should stop. Better beat them in this game, which has very positive reviews on Steam, so expect to have a great time together. For example, some guy said that Soul Calibur 6 is everything he wanted Tekken 7 to be, so here you will get a full assortment of single-player modes and all new battle mechanics. But beware, according to one Steam user, there is no voice chat on multiplayer, so the game is just not the same without all that toxic rage. But nevertheless, just pick Geralt and kick some ass in silence. Totally accurate battle simulator. If you are just bored and want to kill some time in single player without thinking too much, I doubt there is a better game for that than Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. At first, it's really funny. Second, it challenges your IQ and actual tactical skills. All you need to do is to choose your units, place them strategically and press the fight button. They will do all the battling part by themselves and you will observe it like some overarching god who has no power to influence anything anymore. So when your army is ripped apart and its scattered remains lie on the ground, then you may think of another strategy and try again, and then again. Some of the battles in the campaign are crazy hard and will squeeze your IQ through your nostrils. Also, if you have some doubts, the game has about 100,000 reviews left on Steam and the score is really close to 100%. I'm not kidding, it's probably one of the best rated games on the whole Steam. Journey to the Savage Planet. As the newest recruit of Kindred Aerospace, the 4th best interstellar space exploration company, your job is to find out if this planet is suitable for humans. Well, honestly, probably not. Not at all, but you don't know that yet, and yet, here you are. You can play it alone or with a friend. Of course, you probably don't have one, so alone it is. This game may look like it's made for kids, but it's not. It has references of alien drugs and some more adult themes I don't think I can talk about if I want to stay monetized. But people are saying that the game has really great humor, awesome design of animals and plants, and really fun tools to use. Although some of the players are complaining that the game gave them headaches, like real headaches, probably from oversaturated colors and lots of movement, so keep that in mind if you're a bit more sensitive person. Kingdoms and Castles. Now that is no doubt one of the most original names you can think of when creating a medieval strategy game about kingdoms and castles. Oh wait, no it's not. So here your kingdom must survive a living and dangerous world. Will the Viking raiders do some pillaging to your villages? Or are they stopped full of arrows at the castle gates? Does a dragon torch your granary and your people will die of starvation in the winter? Or will you be able to fill it with arrows as well? Not the granary, the dragon. The success of your kingdom depends solely on your skill as a city and castle planner, so as always, your villagers are doomed. Anyway, make sure your peasants are fed in the winter and healed of plagues. Build churches to keep their minds washed and taverns to keep them happy. Send out woodcutters to collect wood. Set up stone quarries to build your castles and farm the land efficiently so your town can grow and thrive. Also, in case of fire, your townsfolk can efficiently pee on it. Cyberpunk 2077. Finally, Cyberpunk 2077 has become a great game. Recent reviews on Steam are always above 90%, and the main score climbed to the very positive tier. After many years in mixed and later in mostly positive category, this is an achievement of really hard work and dedication. CD Projekt Red, by releasing an undercooked game, has made probably the biggest mistake of their lives, but they are slowly climbing up. Although the stock value of the company is still in ruins. After the flop of the game, CD Projekt Red lost about a third of company's value, and so far nothing has changed despite the amazing comeback of Cyberpunk. And the game itself is a wet dream of anyone who likes single-player RPG games, but it also has some really annoying flaws as well. Despite being set in a GTA-like world, here you cannot fly. That is sad. Anyway, the campaign is more than awesome. 11 cold beers out of 10. Titan Station.
This is a retro sci-fi adventure that takes us far into the future, in the year of 1999. Yeah, the retro future is in the past, but somehow we have all these wonderful things we managed to achieve with the technology of the past. A really cool genre reminding us of all these science fiction novels we have read in our teens. So here you are, a systems operator, casual worker of the space station. But after arriving, your mundane work turns into a struggle for your very life as you make a shocking discovery. You have to believe me here, because this is not a channel of spoilers. Most of the time. Well, half of the time. Still, that counts. Subscribe. Anyway, the station is connected to Saturn's moon Titan by an elevator and pipeline system. Really cool concept. Here you won't find any combat, and the game itself will take about 4 hours to complete. If you liked games like The Invincible, Outer Wilds or Observation, Titan Station is your spoon of potato salad. More than 90% of reviews on Steam are positive. Lilith Odyssey. This is a small but really ambitious indie project you probably never heard about. So here, after the great natural wars have ended, a corrupt galactic government saps life and resources from the many war-weary planets it controls. Your alien family risks everything across an open-world galactic odyssey to find a mysterious land of new beginnings. And they are all aware of their simulated nature. Well, that's a twist. I always say that our world is a simulation, because there is only a slight, tiny chance that our universe is the original one and not being simulated in a computer of some other civilization in another universe, which is itself simulated in some other computer by some even more advanced civilization in another universe, and the cycle may continue endlessly. So really, what are the chances that we live in the first one, the original universe? A rhetorical question, but makes you think, right? Anyway, you will embark on a galactic journey to Lilith, a faraway planet of New Hope. You will discover the history of the Mulago galaxy, relax to in-game radio, grow your fishing, farming and space faring skills, and enjoy casual adventure. Far Cry 6. The game will take you on a journey to Yara, a fictional tropical country inspired by Cuba. Here, ruthless dictator Anton Castillo is in charge. His life's goal is to rebuild the country and bring it back to its glory 50 years ago, when the dictator was his father, no matter what sacrifices he has to make to the people. Yeah, he's willing to sacrifice you for the greater good and feel bad about it. And you play as a warrior of the local resistance movement, trying to remove Castillo from power through both guerrilla warfare and bloody protests in the streets. So as you fight this evil man, be sure that you will never get yourself into a situation where you have to be at his mercy. Yeah, because when you see Giancarlo Esposito as a bad guy, you know that he will do anything to achieve his goal. So fighting a boss like that is a serious business that will not let you make any mistakes. Solo. This is an introspective puzzler set on a beautiful and surreal archipelago. Here you will reflect on your loving relationships by exploring contemplative, dreamlike islands. Solo is a game about love. Well, the name of the game probably suggests that you, like in real life, are not very good in the social field, but that doesn't stop you. The world is divided into archipelagos, and each archipelago is formed by small islands. Each island represents a unique puzzle you will have to solve before getting to the sleeping totems and awakening them to answer a question about love and relationships. The game is really wholesome, it's filled with beautiful environments and cute creatures. Solo was funded by the Fig platform and about 500 backers, but the amount of reviews left on Steam is not very high, to say the least, and just proves that love is bad for business. People on Steam are saying that the game is very atmospheric but very short. It will take only about 3 to 4 hours of your boring life. Forgone. I think someone sent me the code and I installed the game just to check it out, but I was hooked for a few hours. I never finished it, but I definitely played way more than I was expecting to. I'm not a platformer player at all, to be honest, and it still hooked me hard. The game itself is not that long as well, you will beat it in about 6 hours if you have a skill, and if you are like me, it will take you way longer than this. Just use the gamepad, it's kinda terrible to control it with a keyboard. My controller was on the table a few meters away and I was too lazy to connect it, so believe me, I know what I say. The game itself is really detailed, colorful and really fun to play. Your character has a lot of cool skills you will enjoy using. Also, a very positive review score on Steam is making this game for this price a must-play for every platformers fan. Sunless Sea.
This is a horror gothic game. Here you'll be able to explore the Victorian Gothic universe of fallen London, with a focus on exploration and exquisite storytelling. But be careful, some trips might lead you to a certain death, or worse, cannibalism, or the worst, lack of potato salad. Anyways, people really enjoy the beautiful art of this game. Here you'll also meet some very well painted Lovecraftian sea monsters, and the whole vibe in general is very ominous. Even though you will have to read walls of text here, you will do that with joy because the writing is fantastic. But don't expect fancy combat or fast plot lines full of exciting events. No, game is slow, but the brilliant storyline, writing quality, and world building aspects are all handled very well. The only downside is, since you will die a lot, you will have to start over. If the giant crabs, sentient icebergs, and swarms of bats don't get you, madness and cannibalism certainly will. And those nicely written texts won't seem as nice to read for the 10th time. Sunless Sea is more like choosing your own adventure novel than a game. If you like slow-paced, story-rich games, then get in the boat and try to fish the biggest marinated herring you can find. Yes, they come from sea already marinated, if you're lucky enough. Tyranny. In a realm where the tyrant has already won, you must decide how to reshape the world. Will you become an all-powerful dictator, or will you strengthen the pillars of a new regime? You are not a random villager here. In fact, you will wield a vast amount of power in the occupied lands. So basically, you are some kind of a Littlefinger. Just be careful to not end up like Littlefinger as well. You know, dead. Also, it's not a spoiler, Game of Thrones ended about 4 years ago. Yeah, time flies. So in Tyranny, your actions really matter, and no decision here is truly black or white.
Or Asian.
The choices here are morally obscure and will never let you out of the situation easily. People on Steam really love that this game is very detailed and the world itself feels alive and immersive. The combat might be challenging, but it is fair, since it rewards the players who take the time to strategize. Just be warned that Tyranny is more like a book. Be ready for the walls of text everywhere you go. Age of Darkness, Final Stand. Since that StarCraft mission I played 20 years ago where I had to hold my base intact against a never-ending Zerg attack, this concept landed in a warm place of my cold beard heart. Later I have played countless maps like that on StarCraft 2, and then There Billions was released. I enjoyed the game, but I was disappointed as well, because it lacked unit types and was kinda repetitive. Age of Darkness is a bit different. It has a very positive review score on Steam and the technology, allowing over 70,000 swarming AI units on screen at the same time. Also day and night transitions and more defensive units than There Billions had. That sounds nice, but we all know how this gameplay will go for you. You'll see some zombies breaching your walls and then you'll be like,
This is fine.
Dragon Age Inquisition. While we wait for the next part of Dragon Age to be released, let's take a look what the last game in the series had to offer. Let's start with the fact that it wasn't completely oriented to the fans of the Dragon Age franchise and tried to be appealing to a wider audience. That they definitely achieved. Me and my wife, we played the game and we liked it. It was our first experience in the world of Dragon Age and we had tons of fun. My wife even completed it twice. The game was designed to be played using a pause function, but I can't remember ever doing that. I played it in real time all the time and I had fun. Maybe on some boss I pre-planned some moves, but that was about it. It is definitely not a game for a hardcore Dungeons & Dragons fan, more like a nice fantasy title for the masses. It is beautiful, has a nice story, and you can own a castle. In my opinion, 8 cold beers out of 10. Just be careful, with it you must install EA Launcher. That is never cool.
My friend Pedro.
This is a violent ballet about friendship, imagination, and one's man's struggle to obliterate anyone in his path. The strategic use of split aiming, slow motion, and the old stylish window breach create one action sequence after another. If I had to describe this game in one word, it would be fluid, intuitive. Well, that's 3 words, but I was never good at counting. Anyway, this game is pure carnage with amazing features like time slowing and killing enemies with a frying pan. People on Steam are saying that this is a platforming Max Payne, although yellower and with Adidas tracksuit. And you know, Pedro, it's not you, it's a talking banana which makes you commit murders. Great game. Tailspire. It is a beautiful way to play pen and paper RPGs, except here you won't need pen and paper. Instead, you can bring your own stories to life and embark upon campaigns together with your friends. Regardless of where you are in the world, the engine of Tailspire will do everything it can to make you happy. Well, sadly, it can't make potato salad. Just a disclaimer. So, in a way, it's a tabletop game where rules, battles, and adventures are supervised by AI. As developers say, the beauty of real-world tabletop gaming here meets the endless possibilities of a digital world. Here you can build your your adventures without compromising the handcrafted aesthetic of using traditional miniatures. You can take on a mantle of multiple heroes and creatures, manage your stats and express yourself using the emote system, perform dice rolls directly on board and interact with your environment. As a game master, you can dazzle and thrill your friends by building expansive maps, setting up shots and controlling immersive soundscapes to bring all your delightful and devious designs to life. I also have to say that Tales Spy is not tied to a specific game or rule set. You make rules or bend them as you wish, and the game makes sure that no one can break them. Observation. This is a sci-fi thriller where you will have to uncover what happened to the crew of the space station through the lens of artificial intelligence. You will assume the role of AI by operating the station's control systems, cameras, and tools. The game is blending narrative adventure, puzzles, exploration, and cosmic existential horror. You will uncover the true nature of yourself, your crew, and the mysterious, always present hexagon on Saturn. The story, horror atmosphere, and music is great, but the game can be a buggy mess if your gaming setup is slightly out of the ordinary. Also, people on Steam are recommending playing it with a gamepad. But in general, it seems that Observation is a great deal for the fans of 2001: A Space Odyssey and Solaris movies. I will say probably blasphemy that I liked Solaris with George Clooney way more than that Soviet film with Donatas Banionis as the main protagonist. Neo Complete Edition. This game, as you probably already know, is a third-person Souls-like action RPG. You play as a lone traveler in the age of samurai who lands on the shores of Japan. You must fight your way through the vicious warriors and supernatural creatures that infest the land in order to reach your destination. The complete edition contains the full game and 3 expansions with additional story chapters. People are jokingly saying that in this game you are Vibu Geralt, and as with the Witcher game, you just have to play Neo with a gamepad.
Or you will suffer even more.
Yeah, the game is Souls-like, remember? By the way, in 2021, Neo Complete Edition was free on Epic, so you might have it already if you were used to taking free goodies from there. Endless Legend. Here you will evolve your civilization through discovery and new advanced technologies. You will keep one step ahead of the other 8 civilizations by trade and diplomacy, or eradicate your puny enemies with the help of unit equipment, abilities, and the terrain to overcome the challenges using your humongous IQ. The game has quite high replayability because of randomly generated worlds and quests. You can set the size, shape, and topography of your new world and even create new civilizations. Also, all existing ones really differ from one another and have authentic mechanics. By the way, Endless Legend is not computer power hungry, it runs quite smoothly even if you have a potato PC that is below minimum requirements. People on Steam are saying that Endless Legend is a wonderful game with a great atmosphere, lore, and mechanics, but it also eats your time in huge amounts, so be sure you have it.
Fight Grab.
Mortal Kombat is for the weak. If you want to become a really strong and respectful warrior, there is another way better game for that. You may think that I am joking, but
Fight Grab
has 93% of positive reviews, so it's officially better than most fighting games ever released. You will take control of a simulated physics-powered grab and fight various opponents with one basic rule: flip your enemy over to win. Take advantage of a wide range of equipment to beat your opponent down: claws, swords, guns, armor, jet engines, and more. Maybe a dildo, I don't know. And you have to stop your opponent's blade with your pincers, run along walls, and generally go full-on crab with all the fighting techniques at your disposal. This game is just like you always wanted fight games to be, but probably never realized.
Fight Grab.
Will end that ravenous fighting game hunger you were feeling for years.
Or maybe not, I don't know, maybe you are just a monkey on a branch in the zoo and you just like how my channel sounds.
The Hand of Merlin. This is a turn-based roguelite RPG in which a famous legend about King Arthur clashes with a sci-fi horror. You'll explore a medieval setting on the brink of apocalypse, trade with merchants, improve your heroes, and unearth ancient relics. And by doing that, search for the lost fragments of your soul scattered across the multiverse and save as many worlds as you can. As you jump from one dimension to the next, history is reshaped and it gives real deepness to this game. People on Steam are saying that the game is hard and pushing, but in a good way. You actually learn a lot from your failures here, not like in real life. Although people also say that the game fancies to crash, especially during the combat, and that may be infuriating. System Shock. This is the full remake of the famous original System Shock from 1994, combining the old gameplay with all new HD visuals, updated controls, overhauled interface and all new sounds and music. It even has the original voice actor of Shodan, the psychotic AI who has taken control of the Citadel station and turned the crew into an army of cyborgs and mutants. She now plans to do the same to Earth, so you must explore and battle your way through the depths of a space station gone to hell, stop AI and avert humanity's destruction. The best thing for me, a man who never played the original System Shock of 1994, was a shocking experience, pun intended, when I realized that this is not a linear shooter. You can actually decide where to go first, what areas to explore, and you will also have to make a mental map of the space station in your head, because it is huge and it's easy to get lost. Other side. Here you will lead your army of female warriors to battle. Your skill in combat will decide their fate, shape their abilities and personality. So under your command, they probably just die angrily in pain and agony. Anyway, jokes aside, like in all turn-based games, here you will have to plan your moves carefully, because one wrong action can lead your party to failure. Although the game offers cool mechanics where you can sacrifice one to heal another, survivors will get stronger, ready to fight the next battle. The bad news is that the game practices permadeath, so by sacrificing warriors, you are like sacrificing them for real. And the elephant in the room is, of course, the visuals of the game. Only black, white and red color palette exists here and makes this game stand out from other similar projects. Prey. The game has a really cool story that has you playing as a scientist exploring a place infested by an alien life form. Yeah, I bet you heard that somewhere. A few dozen, 100 million times. Despite that, aliens are really nice here. Well, by saying nice, I mean that they are the opposite of nice. You wouldn't want to chat with them about video games or best beer kinds in the universe or, you know, the best recipe for potato salad. No, they are terrifying creatures. Although, as I always say, not as terrifying as people who put pineapple in potato salad. Those are the worst. Just imagine this space station filled with them. Prey is a thriller, but that tiny change would make it one of the scariest horror games ever. So anyway, Prey gives you a variety of weapons to use along with superpowers like telepathy or the ability to trick enemies by turning yourself into everyday items. Yeah, it may sound like nonsense, but it's not. You can truly acquire alien abilities and use them by stopping time or turning yourself into a bottle of beer and then you can roll around like crazy. Not suspicious at all. Well, this ability of turning yourself into a stuff could probably spice up the love life of you and your wife or imaginary girlfriend. I don't judge. But first you have to defeat the space evil and escape from the space station alive, and with all the parts intact needed for, you know, spiciness. Astroneer. Game is set during the 25th century intergalactic age of discovery. Here, astroneers explore the frontiers of outer space, risking their lives in harsh environments to unearth rare discoveries and unlock the mysteries of the universe itself. In this space sandbox adventure, you can work together with other players to build custom bases above or below the ground, create vehicles to explore a vast solar system, and use terrain to create anything you can imagine. So basically, you are invading beautiful planets with beautiful nature and making an industrial hell out of them. Yeah, screw nature, the galaxy is full of it. People on Steam are saying that here you are your own worst enemy. You will fall off the cliffs, touch deadly plants and forget something at your base that is half a galaxy away. Yeah, anyway, very positive reviews are here for a reason. Almost everyone loves the game and there is a huge chance that you will love it as well. My Time at Porsche. This is a fun and relaxing RPG, a great open world game with an incredible amount of stuff to do. It is similar to Stardew Valley but has more depth in it, literally because it is in 3D and figuratively because it is bigger in general. And this is the best game if you just want to relax. Here you arrive in a weird post-apocalyptic new town named Porsche to inherit your father's old building workshop and spend your time restoring it to its former glory. It's definitely not a game for a serious RPG lover, but sometimes it's just good to relax, catch some alpacas, build some experimental devices and even go to a dungeon to fight giant rats. Definitely a game for the whole family. 5 Nations. If StarCraft was mockingly called a Warcraft in space, then Five Nations should be called a Warcraft in space, because it is following the same gameplay formula as Blizzard games, but everything is happening, you know, in space. But don't worry, this is not some grand strategy game or something like a Homeworld where the distances are huge and everything is happening super slow. No, in Five Nations the background is space, but all the action is the same as an old good base builder RTSs. The game gets little attention because it's an indie game and they have no money to make a huge advertising campaigns. I found it just because I was especially looking for games like StarCraft, and it still took me an hour to get to this game. But now it may become a bit more popular because other YouTubers tend to copy my lists. Great thing is that you can play the demo version on Steam absolutely free and check it out with your own eyes. Although it's not easy to see where to download it, look in the right column above information about languages and you will see the download button. Five Nations managed to stay true to old school gameplay, voiceovers and even writing style, and that is great. Risk of Rain 2. Everyone who played Risk of Rain 2 can agree on one thing: it plays way better than it looks, meaning that everything you are seeing now to you looks like a graphic gibberish of some sort, but if you take control of the hero, everything changes immediately. The game has 96% of positive reviews left by hundreds of thousands of players who bought the game. You can't argue with that. So here you'll fight your way to the final boss and escape, or continue your run indefinitely to see how long you can survive. A unique scaling system means that both you and your foes limitlessly increase in power over the course of the game. People on Steam are talking that Risk of Rain 2 is a bit unfriendly for new players. It will take time for you to adapt, so be prepared for that. It won't guide you by your hand or penis. The Outer Worlds. It is definitely one of the best RPG games I have played in recent years. It is funny, it has secrets, many guns and places to explore. It's not just Fallout in space. I had more fun playing The Outer Worlds than I had playing Fallout 4. Even if this is a bit smaller game, I can absolutely give it 9 cold beers out of 10 and recommend it to you without a doubt. But I have to mention that it has some cons as well, like unbalanced difficulty. You know, at first you die a lot, but later everything else dies in seconds, even the strongest monsters. Then you may think,
Hey, I will switch from hard to the hardest difficulty.
but you can't. You have to play the whole game on this hardest difficulty without switching it off, because developers decided to add some stupid achievements most of the players don't even care about. So you will feel overpowered all the time and you can't do anything about that. That's why I didn't buy and didn't play the last DLC. I already feel like a combat god, everything just dies when I blink. Batman, the Telltale series. Here you'll make discoveries that will shatter Bruce Wayne's world and the already fragile stability of a corrupt Gotham City. Also, your choices will determine the fate of the Batman. Just like in Telltale's The Walking Dead series, here you can choose your own adventure and dive deep into this cool visual novel. The game includes 5 episodes, and as people on Steam are saying, this is a great adaptation with interesting characters of the Batman franchise. Voice acting is nice, the script is engaging, and if you like games like that, it's almost a must-play. You know, seriously, there aren't many great visual novels you can play, especially not on this level. One nitpicky thing that may discourage you is that if you choose a non-violent path, the game will probably fail to react accordingly in several situations, so just beat everyone and enjoy the story. And now, thank you for watching, and don't forget that in my channel you can find hundreds of videos like that with new ones released almost every day. Have a nice day and I'll see you next time. Bye.